Welcome to the Antigua travel guide, located a short 1 hour taxi or shuttle from Guatemala City, and the airport will land you in this absolute gorgeous little city and town. Formed 482 years ago, was actually destroyed many times by earthquakes in 1773, surrounded by volcanoes, gorgeous landscapes. Myself, Em and my mum have been exploring for the last 4 days, and we're going to walk you through everything you need to know. Places to go, things to see, coffee, brunch, best place to get some tacos, a few beers, a few vino blancos, and of course the volcano hike. Questions as always in the old comments. Whilst you're down there, hit that subscribe button. Still en route to 3K subs, and let's get straight into it. We're going to kick off with the big fella himself. It is Acatenango and the Fuego volcano hike. For me, this is the absolute highlight of Antigua and one of the highlights of our entire travel so far. We paid $41 per person, which includes your transport there, includes all your food, drink, accommodation, and I say that a little bit in jest because the food is absolutely terrible. The accommodation were 6 of us just huddled up in the smallest tent you've ever seen. If one person rolled over, the whole group had to roll over. So for me, the food, the accommodation was terrible, but the views, what you saw at the top, were breathtaking, okay? So you get there just at about sunset. Fuego's going off all through the night. It goes off about every 10 minutes. Lava's coming out, and obviously with a pure black backdrop. Do you know what I mean? The lava, the colours, vibrant, absolutely different gravy. The hike itself is very, very difficult. They stop so much, to be fair. So if you've got a little bit of VO2 max, a little bit of cardio about you, you'll get up there pretty easy. I'd say it's like 3 hours of hiking, but they probably stop for 2 hours within like lunch, and oh, do you know what I mean, just stops for people as well. My mum, aka Neens, aka the chairman of the Chili Dippers, is 60 years old, and she was in like the front quarter of, do you know what I mean, the 3 groups of about 60 people. So you know what I mean, she's competitive, she pushes herself, but it's not one. It is a really challenging hike, so like don't take anything away from it. It's very challenging, but it's worth it for the views. Fuego going off, you get down, you have probably about 6 hours sleep. We probably had about 2 in our tent. It's absolute carnage. And then you get up the day after, 4 a.m. set off, battling up the mountain. It's absolutely brutal. You're talking like drops like this on either side. You could fall off. You've got a head torch on going up the mountain. It's all rocky. It's all like sand and shale. All the ground's moving in front of you. And I'm obviously trying to make sure my mum doesn't bloody fall off the mountain, because that'd be less than ideal, calling her shady, to be like, yeah, Neens has taken a little tumble. You get to the top of the mountain and it is Baltic. My mum was in shorts and everyone was coming up being like, you have to be from the UK. Yeah, built different in the north. But the sunrise is genuinely one of the best sunrises I have ever seen in my entire life. The colours, you've obviously got the volcano erupting on one side, you've got other volcanoes in the distance, the sun's peeking through the clouds, and it was so strong, vibrant, red, oranges, absolutely gorgeous. Genuinely, I think one of the maybe top 2, the other one I put up there for me, it's the Namze viewpoint in Laos. So yeah, that is, if you're coming here, I think that's a non-negotiable. You absolutely have to do that. So in terms of Antigua as a town, gorgeous streets, absolutely littered with colonial influence. The different coloured buildings, yeah, are all phenomenal. They're all different. There's all little like piazzas, little squares. The main one in the middle, but apparently they have loads of different squares. So when there is an earthquake, it's easy just to meet in one of the squares for safety and to make sure they know where everyone is. So you know what I mean, just thinking a little bit up here for thinking, a little bit down there for dancing. But yeah, streets absolutely gorgeous. And then in the streets as you're walking and exploring, make sure you're looking in every single open door you see, because all the courtyards have different bars, terraces, place to get a little beer, a little cerveza, a little vino blanco, a little bit of caffeine in the old system. It's one of the nicest places. I've been, so quaint, so much like culture as well. Like you see the picture online of obviously Santa Catalina archway, which was actually built because there was a school of nuns, there was a group of nuns which lived on one side, and then they taught in a school on the other side of the building, but they didn't want to engage with the public, just teaching in the school. So they built this to connect the two. This is the only real estate that the old Vatican could find for them. And then, yeah, they could walk through without being seen, do a little bit of teaching, and then get back in the old evening. But that's a gorgeous little spot. We're here in December. If you want the iconic photo where you're looking through the archway, and you have Catalina archway above you, you've got your back to it, and you've got one of the volcanoes in the distance, you need to go there in the morning, because if you go in the afternoon, the sun's on the other side, mate, so you'll get the worst photos, but it's still, do you know what I mean, super, super beautiful, and would highly recommend. The main square, exactly what it says on the tin, it is where the main activity is. Loads of little bars, piazzas, place to get a little beer, a little coffee as the sun's dropping out the sky, and it's unbelievable setting and scenery. And like I say, because we're here in December time, it's all lit up for Christmas, which is really nice. And they also had like a big parade on one of the days that we were there. And there was a lady, I'm pretty sure somebody said it's like the queen, or like the nominated indigenous queen of Antigua, who came past waving and stuff. So we've been treated to even more culture and insight from that. So food itself, going to give you the insight as always. We've got the best brunch, coffee, and a few little hidden gems as well, food-wise. So for me, the best brunch is AM Breakfast Club, and it's exactly what it says on the tin. It is a breakfast place. We went for the huevos, the egg bake, which is absolutely divine. So it comes there, they've baked the eggs with like tomatoes, caramelized onion, a few little potatoes in there, just silly flavor combinations. And then you could pick like multiple other items. So I got like double raw honey, Em was on some fruit, I got steak as well, Em was on bacon, my mum got like this little sausage thing, absolutely quality, and a glass of orange juice, hand-picked off the trees that morning, absolutely bursting with flavour, and that was about £7.50 for that breakfast. But yeah, honestly, absolutely sensational. Right next to the Santa Catalina archway, there's a place called La Portal, which for us was the highlight from a coffee standpoint, getting that caffeine injection in the old bones. They've got a really nice roof terrace, so you walk through the actual that coffee shop's really, really nice. You get a little cake, or a little cerveza, depending on the time of day, and then keep walking through. You go through like all shrubbery, and then you go up onto their roof terrace. You can see the archway, you can see the volcanoes in the distance, and you can see a lovely little church, a cathedral behind. So it's a great little spot any time of day, and yeah, would highly recommend that. Excuse me. And for dinner we have a taconista, 2 for 1 on a Tuesday. Again, silly flavour combinations. I think for me, if you're going to say only get one type of taco, this is across Mexico and Guatemala thus far, get the El Pastor, which is like the pork and pineapple. It's just ridiculous flavour combinations, a little bit of spice in there, but then the sharpness, the sweetness of the pineapple, just absolutely balancing it out to ridiculous levels. And on MasterChef, they would be absolutely lapping it up. Sure, Greg would be dropping a few sexual innuendos and getting a few red cards, but we digress from the old point. We also checked out another little taco place, cannot remember off the top of my head now, but I'll overlay the name. Again, absolutely great spot. We went there, and again, tacos, I'd probably say are like between like £1 and £1.50 a taco. You get so much meat, so much flavour. I think just hold back a little bit on the old cilantro, but you know what I mean, we're picking at straws there. All the meals there were banging. If you want to mix it up, something a little bit different. Went to Romeo and Juliet, which is an Italian place. Again, I was shocked. We were like, let's mix it up, let's go for something a little bit different. And I think when you're in so far from Italy, I was like, there's no way this is going to be great. Pizza, I'm going to give the pizza a 7 out of 10. No, maybe a 6 out of 10. I've got pretty high standards from a pizza standpoint, but the pasta was absolutely banging. I got the chicken Alfredo, just ridiculous flavours, silly sauce, really hot as well. That's one of my biggest bugbears when you get food that's not too hot. So yeah, the food there was absolutely top drawer. If you're partial to a little beer, a little craft beer, I would go to a place called ABC, which is Antigua Brewing Company, aptly named because they brew all their own beers. Highlight of those, the chocolate porter. You know me, if you follow this channel for a while, I'm always on the stouts, I'm always on the porters. You combine that with a little chocolate or coffee number, and I'm going to be on those all day long. So yeah, I would highly recommend that. And in the same in the brewing company. They sell wine, they sell stuff like that as well, but they have a phone booth, and if you go through the phone booth, you go up to the Ulu, I think is how you pronounce it, cocktail bar. So if you are partial to a little cocktail, mix it up, something a little bit different, then that is going to be the spot for you. And then Vino Blanco, Vino Rosa, a little bit of red in there, a little bit of UB40. If you want some red wine, you want to go to a place called Tabernasco White Vino. Again, this is not how you pronounce it. I'll always overlay it so you know you can just copy and paste that. This is right next to the Santa Catalina archway. It's just opened. Walls full of wine, ridiculous amounts. You know, again, if you've been following the channel, Emmy's always in the market for a pale dry rosé, and they had an absolute abundance of them. The guy will come over, talk you through what sort of wine do you like: sweet, dry, red, white, purple. We're just joking now, but yeah, the wine in there, banging. It works out like £3.50 a glass. We only had one each. The more that you drink, the cheaper it is. So they've got their priorities right, and they've also got some silly wines in there as well, and they have a little cigar bar. So if you do want a cigar, they've got a room you can go into, pick out a cigar and go and puff on that outside. But yeah, one thing that is not on many travel guides, and this is going to be a little secret tip for those who stayed around till the end, is going to a football match. I'm a little bit biased because I'm a big football fan, but the atmosphere at South and Central American football is just on another level. You just don't get this in the UK. Outside the ground before we went in, they're literally setting off fireworks, pyrotechnics. We've got flares going. The atmosphere is absolutely electric. We get in there, we've had a couple beers. We're like, oh, we'll go get a beer. No beer in the ground. You can't sit in your seat and drink it. There is just no beer being sold anywhere at all in the ground. So if you're doing a few beers, remember to do that before. But everyone was super, super friendly. We were sat in a bit where there was no one really sat near us, and we were like, oh, it's a bit weird that there's no one sat here. 5-10 minutes before the game start, this massive group of ultras, flares going, drums going, flags going, all come and just completely surround us. But you'd be thinking, oh, there's a little bit of animosity, there's a little bit of aggression there. Oh no, the lady running the ultras came over, picked a couple of the lads out and was like, here, gave us a massive flag, and we just stood there waving these massive flags, getting in the mixer when the Antigua boys scored. We're just flying in there, there's flares going, you could barely breathe at one point, just choking on all the green gas. But yeah, silly atmosphere, and I think that, again, we're going to see how we go over the next couple of weeks, but that is going to be kind of synonymous of what we've seen so far. The people in Guatemala are so friendly, so happy to get involved, for us to get involved with them and stuff like that. So for me, Guatemala is slowly creeping up in my all-time favourite countries. We've just landed at Lake Catalina. You can hear the waves crashing in behind me. We're going to be taking you through all the things you need to know about there. So this is the travel guide. If you want a little bit more vlog style content, I've done a daily vlog every single day we've been here. So like both the volcano hike days, the sunrise hike, and the Antigua day as well. So go back, check those out. If you have any other questions, bang them down below. Whilst you're down there, hit that subscribe button. Still en route to 3K subs. I'll see you tomorrow, baby. Remember, the chef is always cooking. Let's get